Okay, now it's yeah. Okay. Hello, this is Joshy Boggs. This is I can't remember what this game's called. Talia, Legends of Talia, Legend of Talia, Arcadia. Let's load up our game. They didn't need a warrior. They just needed white mages, herbalists, and healers. Unfortunately, I've never been very good with magic. What else do you think the sword's for? It's just compensation, really. That's so ridiculous. I walked away. I walked through the burning village. The ruined buildings were depressing. It made me so sad. Like, stop burning buildings. Don't you see that you're upsetting me? The stench of burning flesh was even more so. Gross. So stinky. Stop being so stinky, burning flesh. Put on some perfume. I felt like I was standing in the middle of a war. Like I was back in Kadath. I stood there, surrounded by licking flames and black soot. The smell of death invaded my nostrils. I suppressed the urge to choke. Oh wow, she's Talia? She looks like a totally normal person. Oh, poor little Talia. Why did you go in there? Oh no, that's not her. Of course it's not Talia. I was like, oh no, poor little Talia. But that's a girl that she's gonna help. Okay, yeah. I was like, oh my god, that's like the brave warrior. There, lying on the ground before me, was a girl. One of the girls who had asked so eagerly for my autograph. She was still young, only 11 or 12, maybe 13 at a push. Why do you keep going up? She was alive, but barely. She had breathed in a lot of the smoke, and she was coughing, choking. She wouldn't last the night. The ends of her frayed nightgown were burnt to black. So were her feet. The fat on her legs was bubbling like a cauldron. No, it's not. Well, I guess maybe it does. Maybe this is just before the fat on her legs started to bubble. She looked up at me. I looked down at her. The cool wind caught in my hair. It fluttered. What's weird is that they're describing something extremely grotesque and disturbing. The fat on her legs bubbling like a cauldron. That's horrible. That's like a really disturbing and terrible image. But what they're showing me is a sad image of a girl crying in the middle of a fire. And it's also, if you don't mind me saying so, let me point out the elephant in the room. It's a bit fan servicey, what I'm looking at. So, why are you going to describe something so disgusting and horrific to me while showing me a fan service image? Anyway, let's keep going. The smell of dead bodies grew together and stronger. The girl opened her mouth and then she said in a low pained voice, "Why?" I'm just gonna imagine I'm gonna imagine that the bubbling flesh of her legs is a mistake and a typo, and that the image that I'm supposed to keep with me is this fan servicey image. So, you know, her life has been ruined, but her legs are not boiling until they mention it again. I didn't know what to say. I didn't have any answer to give. I could have said sorry. What would that have done? So I didn't apologize. Instead, I looked down at the girl with her burnt legs and her tear-filled eyes, and I simply said, "That's how life is." And then I walked away. Oh my god! You're the worst person in the world. There was nothing I could have done. Well, I don't know, you could try to help her find a healer or something. That's an important part of being a warrior. You have to know when to cut your losses. You have to know when to move on. So I did. I left Freycross Village that night, and I never looked back. I stopped a medic on the road and told them about Freycross Village. I asked them to help. Maybe they went back. Maybe they didn't. Why didn't you make them go back? I don't know. I like to think I did all I could, but sometimes when I'm feeling sentimental, I do wonder. Maybe I could have said something a bit nicer to that girl. Something more comforting. Yeah, you really, yeah. Not only that, but you could have taken her out of the village to the medic that you wanted running into. She was only a child, really. You left her in a fiery house. She burnt to death. But that world isn't a very nice place. Yeah, because of people like you. This protagonist fucking sucks. It's midday and the sun is high in the sky. I walk, my head bent, trying to keep beneath the cover of the trees. Fortunately, in the vast and sprawling Little Oak Village, there are plenty of those. They're not all oak trees either. I'm no expert on the various flora and fauna of Talia, but I lived in the countryside as a child near Little Oak. As a matter of fact, and my parents used to paint out various trees to me. My parents used to point out various trees to me when we went for walks. I'm playing the character out now like very solemn because she's obviously got like low self-esteem after having completely collapsed on the job and failed to help that village at all. Sycamore, birch, ash, rosewood. They're all staples of my youth. I pause beneath a tree with a sturdy trunk and numerous dark green leaves. An ash tree, I think, and quite an old one, judging by the thickness of his boughs. I need to take a break, wipe the sweat from my brow. It's a horribly warm day, muggy, I think you'd call it. Doesn't help that there are bugs everywhere, horrible buzzing things, mosquitoes. I can't stand them. Unfortunately, they seem to be rather attracted to me, like everything else in Talia. There she is. I need to reassess. Where exactly am I going? Jesus, this character's fan servicey. I mean, come on. Back to my home village of Little Haven, or what remains of it. I suppose I felt nostalgic. After years of wandering Talia, slaying monsters and saving civilians, I think I deserve a break. I don't think you do that great a job of saving civilians, from what I've heard. Even heroes get homesick sometimes. I lean against the bark of the tree. It's cool beneath my skin and offers me a fair amount of shade. I uncork the flask on my hip and bring it to my lips. It's warm. I wince but drink all the same. While I drink, I examine my surroundings and wave away a few more stray mosquitoes. Horrible things. Little Oak really is expansive. It would be easy to get lost here. Thinking about it, its name's a bit misleading. Maybe you could call it ironic. I've heard of more than a few travelers who blundered in here, sincerely believing in Little Oak's name, who got lost and eaten by monsters. Wow, so no, that's horrible. Little Oak is filled with monsters. Fortunately, most of them only come out at night. The highly ill-fitting name is a holdover from the good old days. As legend goes, this place used to be a large expanse of lush green fields, flat fields with wildflowers and nothing to see for miles upon miles. Then, one of Talia's old queens of yore, Queen Leontine, her name was, but she was a princess back then, came here and planted a single acorn in the ground. The acorn grew and dropped more acorns, and Little Oak became the vast, sprawling forest you see before you. There have been numerous petitions to change the name of this place. It's quite outdated now, by a good 600 years. Well, what's stopping you from changing the name? Nobody listens. People in Talia like tradition. Alright, so I guess the petitions are still the minority. Even a said tradition results in untimely deaths of around 8 people per year. Well, I think people can still, like, you can have a corny name, but you can still understand that it's a dangerous area. 8 people per year? It sounds like Darwinism. If it's any consolation. Well, that's just how life is. I cork my jug of water and attach it to my hip once and more. This game is really depressing. This is like Little Red Lie almost. Except more stupid, so it's not really as bad. But Jesus Christ. My old village shouldn't be too far away now. Just past the crossroads. If I take the left-hand fork, I can make it before sundown. I start walking, crunching old dead leaves and small, hard acorns beneath my sturdy wolf's hide boots when... Help me! Oh, somebody please help me! Now I wonder who could that be? Maybe there's a monster attack? Most monsters only come out at night, but there are always exceptions to the rule. Please, somebody, anybody, stop thinking about what I might be yelling about and come look. I wonder if I should help this woman? I have no real obligation to do so. Yeah, you don't help anybody. You're terrible. I don't know who she is. I don't even know what she looks like. It's like, I could turn my head over in that direction, but should I? But well, I am a warrior. Old habits die hard, I guess. Alright. Hold your horses, I'm coming. She's terrible. I turn, retrace my steps. I take the right fork as opposed to the left and start walking, searching. No, don't search, just go in the direction of the voice. It doesn't take me all that long to find the source of all the commotion. The source of the commotion. We did it. It's a mandragora, a large plant-like monster with a flower for a head and lots of thick, ropey vines. This looks like this could be the same girl from before, from that village, except a little older, obviously. But she also had pink hair. She did not have boobs that big. The vines of the man just... Oh, the fan service. The vines of the mandragora are holding a young woman aloft in the air. At least something's finally happening. At least there's like a bit of story now. The vines are wrapped around her legs, her waist, and her arms. This to be one of the victims of the forest. Her hair is short and soft pink, like primroses. It catches in the breeze. Pretty. She won't be pretty for much longer if the mandragora succeeds in crushing her to death. Nope. She'll be pretty ugly. Are you going to help me? Or are you just stand there thinking? The woman looked at me, her eyes large, hopeful. This is a hentai right here. This is pornography. Well, what can I do? I can't turn around and walk away. Nope, sorry, I'm off duty. I mean, you've done it before. We already know that when the game began, you were doing that. I don't think that would cut it. If I don't step in, she'll die. Don't worry, I'll help you. I achieved my sword. Oh, thank you so much! You can thank me when I've defeated that monster. Now... put that woman down, or you won't live to regret it. I don't know why I said that. It's not like a mandragora can understand common Italian, or any kind of language for that matter. All this monster can do is shake its fangs to spew pollen. Oh well. I can at least say I tried some things this diplomatically. Oh snap, here she comes. The mandragora snakes its long, thick vines out toward me. But I don't think so. It tries to grab hold of my ankles. Too slow. I jump back, avoiding them, and slice the vines in two with the blade of my sword. Alright, now we're getting heroic. Easy. The severed vines begin to leak sticky sap. Enraged, perhaps in pain. I gotta turn the air conditioner off because it's gonna interrupt the sound. The mandragora starts shifting, swaying and swaying. It sends more vines after me, and I dodge them all. I dispose of them with the slightest flick of my wrist. Slice, slice, slice. The mandragora can't move very far. It's rooted into the ground. Though its vines are long, it has a limited range. I dance about it, hair catching in the breeze. I should really get a cut. And separate each and every vine. Wow, you're so amazing, Lady Knight. Be quiet, you're distracting me. Oh, sorry. I guess I'll cheer you on quietly from inside my heart. Aww. I wonder if this could be like a lesbian romance going on right here. Now thoroughly crazed, half mad with pain, the giant flower monster spurts out pollen. Thick waves of the stuff, bright yellow. I don't know what it does. I don't want to find out. I jump back, I'm out of the pollen's range, at least the worst of it. It will still get carried by the wind. How do I approach it? This would be easier if I was a mage. My mother always wanted me to study magic. She was a mage herself, a white mage who worked for the Central Spinel Church. That's the largest church in Talia. Unfortunately, I have no magical powers. I can't even shoot sparks from my fingertips. Being able to conjure fire from thin air would be a useful ability right now. Mandragoras, being plants, are highly susceptible to fire. They burn very easily, just like the village of Freycross. Why are you bringing that up now? I was just feeling like we were moving past that, and you brought it up again. No, stop it. I'm not going to think about that. Yeah, that's right. Knock it off, please. That was almost 8 years ago. Oh, 8 years. So this could be the same girl. She does look like her. She has the same pink hair. It's irrelevant. I narrow my eyes, assess the situation. The Mandragora is still covered in a veil of yellow pollen, preventing me from getting too close. I can tell in its leafy, vegetative mind, indeed, it has a mind, that it thinks it's outsmarted me. The vines dig even tighter into the captive woman, trying to squeeze her to death. Ah! The girl gasps. It sounds like she's suffering. I can't allow that. I won't allow that. Maybe this will work. I swing my sword hard. It displaces the air, clearing out a thin path between the pollen between me and the Mandragora. The Mandragora shifts. Its large flowery head turns in my direction, but it's already too late. Hi-ya! I rush forward, dashing through the slim opening my strike afforded, and jump. The Mandragora, panicking, sends a bevy of vines after me. How many vines does this thing have? But I ignore them. Focus on the flower. I bring the sword down. It splits right through the large open flower in the center of the Mandragora. The Mandragora thrashes in pain. Come on, show it. At least this is a pretty clever use of that one picture. I feel like I can kind of visualize it from this. But still, I feel like they should show the sword. Its vines crumple in on themselves. The young woman is released. She falls through the air, and I dash forward to catch her in my arms. Oh, come on, show that. I hold her against my chest and carry her away, while the Mandragora dances itself to death. This woman's unconscious. The plants squeeze the air out of her. Fortunately, she's still breathing. When I'm a good 5 feet away from the crumpled plant, I lay the woman on the ground. I set her beneath the shade of an oak tree. The ground is covered in fallen acorns. Upon closer inspection, I realized my hasty first impressions were indeed correct. The woman is very pretty. She's young, maybe 19, 20? Ah, there we go. Right? 13 years old plus 8? Or 12 plus 8? 11 plus 8, right? Yep, it's the same girl. That's like somewhat clever foreshadowing there. And has smooth skin and peach-colored hair. I examine her wrists, her ankles. There are red welts crisscrossing her skin, no doubt from the Mandragora's vines. Well, they'll heal soon enough. She should have burn marks on her legs, possibly from... I don't know, I'm still confused about whether the legs were actually burning or not. I seize my sword and turn. I'm ready to walk away when... Oh, Lady Knight! She's awake. Damn it. She's sturdier than she looks. Are you just gonna leave like that? That was the general idea, yes. But I haven't even had a chance to apologize. For what? For getting attacked by that plant. It was my fault. I'm usually so careful. I know this fire is like the back of my hand. I've never been caught by a Mandragora before. It's the first time for everything. I suppose, but oh, this is really embarrassing. Then I should have let you die? What? That's not what she said. What? No, of course not. I was really happy when you came to save me. It was like something from a fairy story. I simply did what any concerned onlooker would do. Now, we both know that's not true. Oh, they finally changed her face from like upset to smiling, which they probably should have done earlier, but at least they got around to it. Not many people would have had the guts to face down a monster like that. People can surprise you. You certainly surprised me. I'm so happy. I want to repay you somehow. The woman gets to her feet, but her ankles are weak and she stumbles. It's a good thing I'm there to catch her, or she'd been making a sudden appointment with the ground right now. It seems you saved me again. You should be more careful. Yes, I will, I promise. I have little faith in promises of people from Talia. Well, if that's all, I'll be on my way. Oh wait, please wait. Bitch, she needs your help. You're supposed to be some kind of hero, right? Yes, what is it now? Oh my god, you're so unpleasant. You can't just walk away like that. Watch me. But you saved me. I need to thank you. I don't need any thanks. Don't say you need thanks, bitch. You need fucking help. You need your ankle is busted and you're in a forest full of monsters. But you were so strong and brave, just like a real warrior. A real warrior, huh? She pauses and then... Oh my! Oh no. I know you. You're the Lady Warrior Arcadia, isn't that right? I'm afraid you have the wrong person. No, it really is you. I'd recognize you anywhere. My older sister is a big fan, and she has a wooden carving of you she bought with 3 months worth of her pocket money from the traveling market of Melora. I think it must not be the same girl, because if it was the same girl, she would hate her because she left her to die in a burning building. Then she was ripped off. A likeness of my face is hardly worth that much money. See, I knew it. You really are Arcadia. Damn. I don't know what you're talking about, miss. You don't need to call me miss. My name is Cecily, and I'm very glad I met you. Oh, great. What? Arcadia's fine. For some reason I thought her name was Talia. Talia's probably the world, right? Trophy earned. Meet Cecily. Oh, but this is incredible. She's so excited. She's practically jumping. I'm starting to think Arcadia is not a lesbian because she is not giving this girl the time of day, and I think any self-respecting lesbian probably would. I simply have to go home and tell my sister. Celestia will be overjoyed. Well, don't let me keep you. What do you mean? You're coming too, of course. I guess you might have low self-esteem. Of course. She makes it sound like it's something ordained by the stars. Something that can't be altered by any man. Not even the great Arcadia herself. Why do you want me to come with you? Because you did a great thing for me. Everybody in my village will want to thank you. I don't think that's a very good idea. But Cecily isn't listening. I get the vague feeling listening isn't one of her strong suits. You must meet my sister, yes? Listening's not one of your strong suits, because you're rude as fuck. And my mother, and my grandmother. The village chief will want to see you, and all the young children, the men and women too. Oh shit, yeah, this is not something that she wants to relive. Yeah, she doesn't like to be idol worshipped in a village. That's gotta be traumatic. You know, that's gotta be a trigger for her. We all heard of your legends, and we all want to meet you. It would be like a dream come true. Yikes. I can understand how that would freak her out. Some dreams are better left unrealized. Nonsense! You know, it's been hard in my village lately. It hasn't rained nearly enough, and it's been so hot and dry this summer. There isn't enough water to go around, and we were starting to lose hope. But if you were there, Arcadia, then I'm sure everyone would be very happy. It'll prove that life can be good and great, and maybe even my sister will get better. She's sick? Yes, she's been very sick for a very, very long time. The only thing that makes her happy is her woodcut of you. I'm sorry to hear that. I turned to one side, suddenly awkward. You'd think I'd get used to being an idol after spending so much time of my life in the spotlight, but apparently not. I just want a quiet life, really. Maybe with a cat or two. I'm getting too old for all this nonsense. Why am I letting this girl get to me anyway? Everybody in Talia has one sob story or two, but when I look at her eyes, I feel myself getting swayed regardless. What a pain. I was out in the forest for Celesta, actually. I was looking for some mugwort and lady's purse to make a painkiller, you see. It's the only way she can get through each day now. But I was so worried. I must have forgotten myself. I walked right into that Mandragora's den. If I died, I don't know what would happen to Celesta. There's mother and grandmother, yes, but she needs me. She loves me. We're sisters. Cecily takes hold of both of my hands and smiles. You did a very great thing today, Arcadia. You didn't just save me. You saved my whole family. I can't thank you properly, and I don't have anything to give you. But if we went back to Fairside, you could be compensated amply. I don't do this to make money, but my voice lacks conviction. There's no conviction left. Cecily has drained it all from me. She's a skinny woman. No, she's not. But her face is awfully determined. Her eyes are narrowed, her brows furrowed. I suppose you could say she's not fat. But she is amply bodied. Yep. She's earnest and means well, but she's also stubborn and self-assured, and absolutely will not take no for an answer. She's also rather attractive, which doesn't hurt. There we go. Go get that. You've earned a spot in this girl's affections. Her fingers laced with mine, and are very soft and warm. Please, Arcadia, please, for me. I swallow. I want to turn my head, but I can't. She's exactly the kind of person I'm weak against. Forget Mandragoras. It's girls like Cecily who'll be the end of me. Yeah, this is a much younger woman because she was an adult in that village, and this girl, if she's not the same girl from the village, she's at least the same age as her. So, yeah, she's obviously much younger. She's probably like 20, and the other one's 28, 30 maybe. Yeah, it's not that big a difference, I guess. The two of us walk through Little Oak Forest together. Leaves and twigs crunch beneath our feet. Light filters down through the leaves in the trees up above, but most of Cecily's face is obscured in shadow. The forest is overgrown, the paths are ill-maintained. Perhaps they haven't been tended to in centuries. Not many people venture into Little Oak Forest, not if they know what's good for them. People never know what's good for them. I keep on my guard, turning my head this way and that. My fingers tremble, an alien, unfamiliar noise brings my hand against the hilt of my sword, but... Oh! It's only a squirrel. What are you giggling about? I didn't realize great warriors like yourself were afraid of squirrels. I'm not afraid of squirrels. I'm afraid we might run into some more monsters. You can never be too careful. But you're a warrior. I bet you'll be able to take care of anything with one slash of your sword. BAM! Cecily punches the air for further demonstration. I roll my eyes. Swords don't go bam. Whoosh? I suppose that's better, but that isn't the point. I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about you. What do you mean? If you're with me, you're under my protection. I need to keep you safe. That's why I have to be careful. Oh, don't worry, Arcadia. I live in these woods. I've been playing in here since I was a little girl. I can look after myself. But you still got ensnared by that Mandragora. Oh, come on. It was a one-off. I'll be more careful next time, I promise. Ah! Cecily shrieks in alarm. She pitches forward. Oh, no. I reach out and catch her before she falls, most inelegantly to the forest floor. Catching her before she falls. Okay. She giggles awkwardly. I tripped over a tree root. I could tell. I guess it was a two-off? You really are clumsy. I can't take my eyes off you for a second. I would have been fine without you, really. It's not a big deal. Then I won't catch you next time you fall. Boo! Cecily puffs out her cheeks. You're mean. I know. You're not supposed to agree with me, but it's the truth. So, this village of yours, Fairside? Alright, Fairside. It's a nice name, unassuming for a village. How far away is it? It's not that far, it's just down the path. That's what you've been saying for the last half hour. Well, maybe it's a little further than I said. How much further exactly? 3 hours? 3 hours? Cecily, you're killing us. Give or take? Why were you so far away from home to begin with? Like I said, I was gathering ingredients for Celestia. Mugwort and Ladies First. Don't they have Mugwort and Lady First a little closer to home? They did, but like I said, there's a drought. Most of the plants are too withered to be of any use. I had to look a little deeper. 3 hours deeper. Yep, I'm nothing if not tenacious. You must love your sister a lot. I don't love her, I adore her. Nobody else in my family can gather these herbs for Celesta. Mother needs to attend the family business and Grandma is way too old. I'm the only one who can help, and I'm doing all that I can. I have to. You must have been walking for a long time already. Don't your feet hurt? A little, but it's no big deal. I can handle this much for Celesta. I'd even walk 1,000 miles for her sake. Classic song. A pretty sentiment, but do you know how long it would actually take? Nope, no clue. I've always been bad with mathematics. I figured. Still, Celesta's been sick her whole life. She's probably suffering more than me. If I can handle being in near constant pain for years and years... Sorry, if she can handle being in near constant pain for years and years, I should be able to... something or other. 6 if you count both ways. I bet her sister is probably the girl who burned her legs. Yeah, 6 hours. That's nothing. When you were still in the army, you must have marched much more than that every day, right? I remember the long march to Kadath. It took almost a week to get there. As soon as we arrived, we were thrown into battle. We didn't have the time to rest our weary legs. We were dying on our feet before we even arrived. Still, we somehow managed to win. People say our victory rests solely on my shoulders. Soldier at Kadath, the few that survived said I was like a force of nature, not a single woman at all. I must have cut down more than 100 enemy soldiers, all the while avoiding their blows and magic bullets. Eloise wasn't so lucky. I shake my head. I've marched for that long, yes. It's different for you. Why? You're not a member of the army. You're not a soldier. You're just a girl. Well, I might be just a girl, but I'm older than you were when you went to Kadath. It's a legend, you know, a famous story. Everybody says you were only 10 years old. Do people really believe such nonsense? Not even Spinel would send a child to into the battlefield. That's preposterous. Oh, then how old were you then? 14? That isn't much better. So if the Battle of Kadath was 14 years ago, 17, has it really been that long? Right, then you're 28? Right, I had called that. That's what I was thinking. So she's 20 and she's 28. 31. Almost 32. I was close still. Cecily wasn't kidding. She really is bad at mathematics. I guess I might be too. But I was just estimating her age, and I was still close. What do they teach children nowadays? You look pretty good for your age. You don't look much older than me. You'd think a warrior would have a few more cuts and bruises on her. I get that a lot. It's another perk of being a warrior priest. They have technicians in Spinel who can do wonders to the human body with spirals of iron and some white magic. Wait, you're a warrior priest? Then shouldn't you have some kind of healing abilities or knowledge that could have helped with the fire? Whatever. They only perform operations on those that they deem to be the most worthy. I was selected as one of the lucky few. The magic imbued into my veins doesn't extend my lifespan. It simply keeps my body younger and stronger for longer, so it doesn't degrade. So I can fight more. So I can kill more. My life expectancy is about the same as a normal human's. A lot of people in Spinel are shrewd businessmen. They like to wring every last bit of use they can out of their tools, like blood from a stone. That's what I am to them, or was before I quit. A tool. You don't need to worry about me, Cecily. I might be older than you, but I'm perfectly capable of looking after myself. You, on the other hand, can stand to be more careful. Hey, I'll have you know I'm super careful. I'll believe that when I see it. You're so full of it. I make a couple of teensy tiny little mistakes. One of which could have gotten you killed. And then you start making fun of me. You're such a bully. You love teasing me so much. You're even smiling right now. Huh? I blink, pressing my fingertips against my lips. She's right. Cecily might be a loudmouth who nearly got herself eaten by a mandragora, but even she raises a few good points now and then. I really am smiling. How peculiar. I don't smile very often. There's precious little in Talia to smile about. I wonder why I'm smiling now. And we're finally here. Cecily beams and plants her hands on her hips. Well, Arcadia, what do you think? I looked around Fairside Village dispassionately. Despite its name, Fairside Village isn't particularly fair, but maybe that's to be expected. It's on the outskirts of Little Oak Forest, after all, and it's partially bathed in the shadows of tall, twisted trees, mostly ash and hawthorn, I think. Aside from all the forestation and the perpetual whistling of the wind through the trees, Fairside Village doesn't look much different from the innumerable other small villages tattered across Talia. The houses are small and wooden, and the thatched roofs. There are dirt paths curving through the village, bordered by grass. The grass is studded with mushrooms and wildflowers. Freesias, maybe. Buttercups. What are these small purple flowers? Ugh, I'm getting sleepy. I should probably stop soon. I'm tired. I made it to the village. This is definitely not my favorite game. I purposely played for a while just to see how much I like the game. I kind of like the burgeoning friendship, or possibly there seems like likely romance growing between these two female characters. You know, nice to see a little representation in a game. If it is going to be a lesbian romance, which it seems like it's going that direction. And I like the storytelling itself. The idea that she abandoned this village. It's like the overly worded visual novel style thing. It sort of gets to me. It's just like Winter's Daydream. Like everything's. It's just so much getting sidetracked in the story. It's a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's not keep going. We're stopping here. But yeah, that's all, folks. See you next time. I'm not very good with flowers. What do you mean? It's not my area of expertise. Oh, right. Of course. Well, yeah, not mine either. A pig lumbers by, unattended. It drags its soft pink belly across the ground. Its curled tail twitches upon seeing me, like a cat's, and its ears fold back against its skull. That's a pig, all right. Yeah. Seems unnecessary. Why are you telling me about the pig? It's kind of cute. Yep, I bet it's a cute pig. Why don't you show me a picture of the pig? There are chickens too, pecking at the ground for worms. A few children playing jump rope, but the moment they see me, they make themselves scarce. I bet they do.